Hello and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is currently Monday the 28th of March. It is 8:25 a.m. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. So this is my morning forecast for the day ahead. And guys, as you can see, TradingView has had another update. They are doing these random sneaky updates. And I think they've updated the fonts, as you can see, which is pretty interesting. But anyway, here we go. This is the Aussie US dollar. And as you can see, guys, we have been range bound. So again, even for me, when I was looking at this and forecasting this last night, again, this is telling me that we are in a range. So again, for me, I'm personally not interested in anything until we actually break out the range. So currently, I believe the highs are, well, we broke this high, retraced, then broke this high, retraced, broke the low, retraced, telling us we're going to be in a range. So again, the highs are, of course, here and here. Now, what do we know about the Aussie US dollar? What is high probability with this pair? Well, we know this pair likes to trend correctively. We know it likes its continuation flags and its reversals. But again, like I say, we are just pushed up again in a corrective manner and we're starting to range. So what am I looking for? Well, I will definitely be looking for impulsive price action. If we impulse out of here, we'll be looking for a nice continuation flag. Same to the upside. We'll be looking for a nice continuation flag to the upside. Very nice, very high probability. But again, if we do actually come up in this ascending manner, continue this corrective price action, I will be waiting and seeing what happens next. If we break the low, pull back to this level, I will be looking at reverse opportunities. Again, one of the things to actually mention here is that even though I am drawing it like this, again, the reversal doesn't have to occur at this moment in time. We can have situations where you can have like a little break here, a little pullback, and a break here, pullback there. We start to see that drop and we'll get in here. Again, what we mean by reversal is when we are starting to see momentum appear in the market for the opposite direction after enough liquidity has been taken over here, right? So that's what we mean. Now again, if we actually just start to impulse and we've got a ton of liquidity, more than happy to look for a nice continuation flag from that price action, okay? And again, it's the same to the downside. So if we do come down in a descending manner, it's just the flip of exactly what I just forecast, and we'll look for opportunities to go long. Now, I will be interested in, of course, continuations. If we see that momentum, retrace, break, retrace, and continue. This situation is very high probability, not only because we're seeing the momentum, but also we know that this pair likes to trend correctively, as I said. So again, it is more likely that we will continue this corrective trend if we are seeing the momentum in a direction, okay? But like I said, again, this price action is very, very range bound, and you can tell if you look at the candles. This is something that I do like to look at. If you've got Marubozu side by side, like you can see over here, Marubozu side by side, you've got some spinning tops as well, and this here, all again over here, some dojis and slash spinning tops. A lot of indecision. So either this is waiting for news, or this is waiting for something till we actually start to see a spike and see where we want to go. Now, for me, again, I would not be surprised if we start to move down. And the reason being is because we have taken out this liquidity and seen some momentum here. But for me personally, we've ranged quite a bit. So I want to just see what happens next before I start to identify possible market biases and think where I want to take or place trades. Next pair is the Aussie Japanese yen. And guys, this pair is going to the moon. Like, I think this is something that we did mention before. It has been trending for a very long time. Honestly, it's very, very bullish. And as you can see, most recently, what has happened? Let's analyze what's happened most recently. So you can see we had a little gap at market open here, right? We broke the low retrace, we broke the high retrace, broke the low, saw a little bit of momentum, but again, formed a wick. Broke the low retrace, broke the high retrace, broke the low retrace, giving us evidence of a range. We did get that. Broke the high retrace, broke the high retrace, broke the high retrace, and now we're seeing momentum up. So again, I will be looking to get involved, okay? Now the reason being is because there will be an area of liquidity, or would have been, above here. And how have we entered through that? Well, we've clearly seen momentum through it. We are clearly seeing that the price action wants to push up, okay? Again, if this was like a very strong area of liquidity, of where we wanted to take these kind of liquidity stops and actually push price down, then we would have seen it. But again, we can tell we are still on the uptrend, still bullish. So again, I will be looking to enter trades. Again, we have a counter trend move here, I believe, just by looking at sight. Yes. So again, we have an inside bar here. And then of course, I think this is an outside bar. So we've got high 712. Yes, we've got an outside bar here. So again, I will be looking to see what happens next. We are breaking this candle with momentum. But again, if this finishes with a wick, then I personally won't be interested. It will indicate that we are coming up in an ascending manner. So I will be waiting to see what happens next. But if we do have this nice solid candle push, I'm seeing commitment. So for me, I'll be more than happy to look to enter a trade, a continuation like this. But like I say, it depends on price action. This pair does like to trend correctively, but not as correctively as the Aussie US dollar. So price action has to be very, very nice, very, very clean. But like I say, I'm seeing momentum. So when we're seeing momentum, we're trend traders. I want to get involved in that market. So that's something I will be looking at. Now, again, we may not get that. We impulse up, more than happy to look for a nice continuation flag to go long. And same to the south side. We impulse down, more than happy to look for a nice continuation flag. But like I say, we may not get this nice solid close like we're seeing now. We've got another 29 minutes left. If we actually form with a wick, we're looking at this scenario, corrective nature. In that scenario, look for opportunities to go south if we see that drop, okay? So again, for me, I'm waiting for more price action, waiting for this candle to finish, and I will be looking at placing orders depending on how far we are, how we get, and how we approach the retest line, okay? So that is what I'm looking at on the Aussie Japanese yen. The next pair is the Euro US dollar, and as you can see, guys, this pair is pretty range bound. And for me, if I zoom out, again, one of the things I'm noticing, as you can see, we've come down. I think we must have opened around here somewhere. Yes, we've opened around here somewhere. We've come down, and again, we're in these lower levels of liquidity. We are pretty much range bound. Now, if we look at this, we have just tapped into an area. If we look at below this wick, there would have been areas of liquidity here. We have tapped into that. But again, how have we reacted? We've not reacted well. We've got a wick, but we can just actually have a nice stronger candle in this hour, pushing up, showing that we've got a nice market reaction. Again, if we have that, then I will be looking at opportunities to actually go long. But for me, one of the things that I am seeing is that, like I say, this is pretty much going sideways. So again, I want to see a lot better high probability price action. Like for example here, we were seeing this kind of, seeing the break in these major lows retracing, breaking the majors retracing, seeing this descending. And then of course we got this smaller descending. This is very high probability on this pair. So for me, I want to see a little bit better convincing price action. In this bottom, we can see, if I actually zoom into most recent price action, you can see we've had this push down, broke the low, retrace, broke the high, retrace. On top of that, we're at this lower level of liquidity, so we come into that. So I want to be careful and see what happens next. Now, like I say, one of the things is that is common with this pair that I do mention with a Euro US dollar and Euro Japanese yen. We get this push down. We might get a descending and we might push down further. If we do that, I will be looking for a continuation flag to the south side. Or if we start to see that corrective nature at the bottom, the weakness, I will be looking at opportunities to go long, okay? So it's not uncommon to see that kind of price action. But like I say, I want to see a lot more convincing price action on this pair before I personally start to look for trades. The next pair is the Euro Japanese yen. As you can see, this has also been on a very, very bullish trend, been going up for quite a while, and we're seeing a lot of momentum. So let's have a look and see what is happening more closely. Well, you can see we broke the high, retrace, broke the low, retrace, broke the low, retrace, range, broke this high, retraced, had this range, okay? Now we came up, again, did we break with momentum? No, not really, not for me. This is not enough momentum. You can see the candles, subsequent candles are just breaking each other's highs. So not really seeing that. We had a one candle retrace, which is nice to see. And then of course, we started to push up. Now again, for me, there is an entry here. I don't know if anyone got involved, but personally for me, I personally would have not got involved in this entry here, because this break, again, even though this is a nice solid close, it is not enough of a break for me. And on top of that, if I get rid of all the drawings, this is acting correctively at that point in time in this higher level of liquidity. Okay, so for me, I wasn't personally interested in this, but we are starting to see momentum up. So if we have the situation like this, I will be looking to get involved in something like that, okay? A nice continuation of the trend, because I'm clearly seeing momentum. We have broken through this area of liquidity now convincingly. If this candle finishes solid, but again, this candle might finish with a large wick. If we see that large wick, then I'm more inclined to believe that this is, sorry, I'm trying to draw a large wick, apologies guys, then I'm more inclined to see this kind of corrective nature coming to the upside, okay? So for me, I'm waiting to see what happens next. I want more price action before I consider getting involved. Just because I'm seeing this kind of push, one candle retrace push, look at the price action we're coming from. Range bound. So again, for me, waiting to see a bit better price action before I look to get involved. We may not get that. We might just impulse up. Impulse up, more than happy to look for a nice continuation flag. Very nice, very high probability. But like I say, if we start to see this ascending manner, corrective manner, I will be looking at opportunities to go south in the form of a reversal like this, right? Again, it doesn't exactly have to happen like this. Can, especially on the Euro Japanese yen, can have situations where it occurs where we've got this corrective nature, we start to see some push down, and then we start to see stronger momentum in this leg, and then we get involved in this location again. Reversals can look like this. Do not think that always reversals just have to look like this. Again, that's just putting our bias on it. It can have different looks, so that's just something to keep in mind. So again, we'll be looking at opportunities to go south. If we impulse, more than happy to look for a nice continuation flag to go south. But like I say, for me, even though we are seeing momentum, price action has to develop a bit before I look to get involved on this pair. So I'm being a little bit more patient before I look for opportunities on euro yen. Next pair is the pound. As you can see, guys, this pair has been ranging. We'd like to see the kind of strong impulses. I do mention this on the forecast. I want to see stronger price action. Now, we have been going a little bit sideways. The price action that I want to see is this kind of momentum. This kind of momentum, continuous momentum, okay? Kind of like this too, but again, in better circumstances, this is just in a range. So for me, we have just kind of trickled down. We're just trickling down. I want to see impulsive or stronger committed price action. We see that. More than happy to look for nice continuation flags like this, okay? Or if we push up, pull back, push up, pull back, more than happy to look for continuations like this. Now again, don't forget that this pair likes to have these kind of longer or wider kind of flags where we see the commitment, we pull back, we start to range within here for a little while, we break the low and go, okay? Very nice, very high probability. This is seen often with this pair. So I will be looking at that kind of setup, but like I say, I need to see this leg of momentum first. So waiting for a lot more on the pound. Next pair is NJ, New Zealand Japanese yen. And as you can see, guys, this is quite similar to, I think, Euro Japanese yen in a sense. And what I mean by that is that we've come from this range. This was Friday being very choppy. We broke this low retrace, broke the high retrace, anticipating the range, broke the low retrace, broke this high again with. Well, again, this is one of the things, right, guys? So again, when we're looking at pairs, we broke this high, okay? But when you have to think about this, is this momentum? Is this great momentum for this pair? Well, yes, it is. But also consider where we are currently at. We will have liquidity up here. So again, we pushed into the area of liquidity, and we started to see a bit of a slowdown, retraced, okay, and then we committed the push up. Now, for me, even if we had liquidity here, right? We have pushed through it pretty strongly. We've had a one candle retrace, a long wick and a nice push up. So for me, I will be looking to get involved in a continuation. If we come back, I will be looking like this. But again, like I say, if you look at the size of the current candle is pretty much far away. If we do close up here, then it's a pretty long way to actually take an order to go down here. So again, I won't be looking at that kind of scenario if we're very, very high up. But for example, if we do get a long wick, and we have a range, then I could possibly consider, but all it depends on price action. As we're going, we're seeing the strong momentum up. I'm more likely to actually be happy to get involved in this opportunity where we'll retrace, break the high with momentum, pull back and go. And like I say, coming back to this level is a bit of a far cry if we look at this, okay? Because then we're going to have a quiet candle that pulls all the way back down, showing a shift in momentum. So for me, I'm waiting for a lot more price action on this pair. On this pair, I do now trade continuation flags. So I did mention this on the last forecast. So if we come up in an ascending manner and we break the low, pull back to this level, looking for a nice reversal setup, or we impulse down, more than happy to look for a nice continuation flag. As it stands, this is very bullish. This is showing strong momentum. So again, I want to see a lot more price action to even consider getting involved on this pair. We know this pair likes to trend correctively, just like the Aussie US dollar, and it does like its kind of continuation flags / retests, just like Aussie Japanese yen. So guys, that is what I'm looking at in the market ahead. It does look like we are seeing some momentum, but things will have to develop a lot more before I personally consider getting involved in trades. But I hope you guys all have a fantastic trading day ahead. Take care, guys.